Hello, Choose Lifers. Thank you so much for joining this evening. We had scheduled to hear from Ashley. Ashley just finished the Choose Life Eating program. And actually, before she finished it, we did an interview together. And we may end up using that because tonight we're going to do a live interview session. She was no longer able to connect tonight, and so if we don't do it next Thursday, because I really want to keep Thursdays as the thankful Thursday, share the testimonial, share what God has done in each person's life, then I will just post, which we've already recorded, and so you'll have that. But I want to apologize, and Rachel, she gives her regards to everyone, for anyone who's planned to tune in and listen to her story, for not being able to do it live this evening with us, but absolutely you'll get to hear from her, whether we use the previous interview or do another live version. But I still want to thank you for taking time and watching this, this video, this episode, the interview, and I want to share with you some of the other testimonies that have come in recently of people that did it in the past, and I made you have them do an interview as well. But this is from somebody. She actually didn't have a lot of weight to lose, but she knew that food did have a hold on her. And this is what she says. She says, I no longer struggle with guilt and condemnation when it comes to eating. I'm now aware of how to eat and how not to eat, and how to go into a situation where there's lots of food that I like and enjoy, and live as an overcomer. I now know what it is to be comfortably satisfied. I did not know the difference between hunger and satisfied and full and overfull. I felt like I did, but I now know how to listen to the voice of my body. And it's something we talk about in Choose Life Eating, the voice of your body, the voice of your soul, and of course, the voice of God's Spirit inside you, and then choosing to live Spirit-led. So the voice of, I now know how to listen to my body and feed it when it is hungry, and I can push my food away without having to clean my plate. I now know how to eat until satisfied. And so I explain exactly what the definition of satisfied is in Choose Life Eating. But in a nutshell, it's just kind of taking the edge off hunger, but I equip you with the verses so you're Spirit-led, you're God-led on how to do that. And so and then what another person said about their thoughts. What are your thoughts about the freedom you experienced in Choose Life Eating was the question. And she says, this is an area that has had me tripped up for over 50 years. Let's just stop there for a second. This is an area that has had me tripped up for over 50 years. But God obviously wants me to be free. I now know how to live in freedom. I was so scared to try another eating anything again, but your words of life and freedom, and this not being a diet that would keep me in bondage, was the key for me. I did not know how that would work, but I was willing to try. And so, yes, I just want to say yes. If you're feeling that, I just want to try. I just want to see. I understand curiosity, and there's so much of the unknown. Is it going to work for me? And actually, I get that the most. People feel like I've done this, but how do I know that this is going to work for me? I realize where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. I've known that verse, but now I know it truly in a different way. I find myself unlocking more freedom in my life the more I choose to operate from a place of we instead of a place of me. And that is that operating from a place of we, is saying, yes, God's Spirit lives inside me. And so in that place of we, I'm going to partner with Him and navigate through my day with a Choose Life lens. But it is we. We are doing this. It's no more me. And it never is me. If you've given your life to the Lord and saying, come live inside me, it's a we. It's always a we. But learning how to walk that out is different. At first, I want to be told what to eat and when to eat. But then I realized whenever I was on vacation and having a few days to not eat this assigned way, like on a diet, I would always gain the weight back than I had just lost. Okay, I know more of this story, but let me unpack it. she was talking about diets, and whenever she was on a diet, she can have this and can't have this. But when you're on vacation, unless you pre-planned and pre-packed all your foods, after a day of skiing, that restaurant may not have the required what you can have and what you can't have. And so she's saying that she would always gain weight every single time, and she would feel like a failure, failing once again, even though she lost the weight for 3 weeks trying something, going on a vacation with her family, and she wasn't able to do life with them. So her thoughts about the freedom that she experienced with Choose Life Eating is regards to her vacation. At first, I wanted to be told, and this is true. I remember this person, she started Choose Life Eating. She's like, tell me what to do. I want to be told what to eat and when to eat. But then I realized, especially when I was on vacation, having a few days to not eat that assigned way, I would gain the weight back, the very weight that I just lost. And I would say that was my story. I felt like I was, gosh, someone could say, well, how much weight did you lose? I'm like, I feel like I lost 150 pounds because it's the same 5 pounds. I would lose 5 pounds and gain 5 pounds and lose 5 pounds and gain 5 pounds. And it's on being on a diet. But once I got off the diet and I really had this we mentality of moving with God through this space of food and eating, that is when I began to, of course, experience true lasting weight loss, but navigate my life with more life and freedom. Okay, this person said, I like being able to mature and grow up in my approach to food so that no matter what I eat, I will continue to lose weight until I hit my ideal weight. At first, I wanted to be told what to do, like a toddler would be told, but I now appreciate being mature and handling my life and situations. And I agree. You can do life with Choose Life Eating, and that is the freedom in it. It doesn't, diets, they do treat you like a toddler. No, you cannot have that. At 10 o'clock, you can have that. At noon, you can have this. At 3, you can have that. At 6, and you know what? We're grown. We're adults. We can steward and govern ourselves. We can take responsibility, and absolutely we can in food and eating. And I will say this, I love the food and eating space because if a person learns how to make this a we factor in food and eating, and because a lot of the questions I get is, how do you invite God into this space? But if you learn how to make it a we factor with food and eating, everything else in your life will shift. Because this space, for some reason, it seems too simple. It seems too small for God. I don't know. It seems like too secular. Like, does God really care about this? Or does it need to be more spiritual for God to care about? And the truth is, he cares about the lilies on the field. He cares about every sparrow, every bird. And absolutely, he cares about this space in your life. Especially, it's a space that you touch food 3 times a day, maybe more. And so by touching the plate, by inviting him into a space where you touch several times a day, and maybe you're spending minutes and hours in this space, if you're meal planning and prepping for a family, he 100% wants you to know life and freedom. Okay, I'm seeing a few more people jump on, and I want to say this. We were going to have an interview. Sweet Rachel was going to do an interview. We're both looking forward to it, and something happened in her day, and so we won't be able to do it today. So we may do it later on. We may do a live one next Thursday, but we do have a recorded one also, and I may just post that this weekend. So, okay, but right now what I'm doing, in place of hearing about her personal story and personal journey, which I know she wants to share, I'm sharing some of other people that they've been sending in that have done Choose Life Eating in the past. This person says, I feel so powerful in having the ability to make choose life choices for myself. 100%. You will feel powerful in not being told what to do, but knowing that you can govern yourself, and you now know how to govern yourself where all the other years you didn't know is because of these scriptures. I'm telling you, the scriptures are gold. Knowing how to partner with God, he is his word. The word became flesh. We know that from John chapter 1, verse 14, to partner with him. Let's see. I see a hi, Kristen. I'm saying hi back, whoever put in. Because of Choose Life Eating, I now understand the simplicity that food is fuel. If I am not hungry, I do not need more fuel. And if I eat more because it tastes good, and my body doesn't need more fuel, so eating past satisfied, then my body will simply hold onto the extra fuel. And fat is simply stored fuel. 100%. Brilliant. Food is fuel. Absolutely. And when your vehicle that you drive, and let's just pretend you drive a Lamborghini, and I want to say that your body is more valuable and more precious than a Lamborghini. But if you're driving a Lamborghini and you pull in to fill it up, get more gas, you get to decide, am I going to put high performance octane fuel in this, or am I going to put low performance octane fuel in this? And because your Lamborghini is precious to you, you're going to choose the best fuel for you. But here's the deal. If you put over fuel in your body, then it's going to store as fat. And that's what fat is. Fat is simply stored fuel. So we talk about how to use that stored fuel in a healthy, effective way. And that is what she's saying. I understand the simplicity that food is fuel. This person is actually in their 40s, and she's like, I remember her saying, I never knew that. I never knew that food in its proper place is stored fuel, and I can enjoy it. But if I have more, just because it tastes good, it's going to store. And if I'm not hungry at mealtime, it's because my body's using stored fuel. 100%. That is simply stored fuel. Let's see. This person said, when I get hungry, I now get to decide what kind of fuel, just what I want to put into my body. That's exactly what we're saying. And I like to choose delicious, healthy, high-octane fuel for myself to cause this vehicle, her body, to perform well. Or the low-octane fuel, it may cause headaches, poor digestion, energy crashes, and it's just not worth it. Yes, and I will say it was actually Rachel, who we would have normally been interviewing tonight. It was her that said, when I go now, I can, like the glitter, the food is just glitter. And I can see it's all just shiny, but it's not true precious gold. And so now food that has its proper place, it doesn't just glitz and glamour anymore. It tastes good. You can get food that tastes good, but not everything. It kind of reminds me actually of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We know that the fruit on that tree, it looked delicious to the eye. It looked tasty and good. It wasn't good for them. And, but it did look that way. And so it was really appealing to the eyes. This person says, I understand I can have food if I simply listen to my body. I now know what comfortably satisfied is. I now know how to stop. I never knew self-control before, but Choose Life Eating, because of the scriptures, they are now the meditations of my heart, and I use that to help me live as an overcomer. Yes, through Choose Life Eating, if this is a space, food and eating, that you've never lived as an overcomer before, I want to just say you will. You will. You'll live as an overcomer. It won't be scary if I go to this place, and it won't be hard if I say no to these things. So not only know as an overcomer, but you live in a place of freedom. And that's actually what this next testimony is. Now that I have more freedom, which is no more exhausting self-thoughts and emotions, I am more relational with others. I'm outside of myself, and I don't battle the entourage that allowed me to play and plague me for years. I love the clock not being the boss of me. I love listening to what is best for my body. I love knowing the voice of my body and the voice of my soul and the voice of my spirit, what someone said before. I still think I have more layers of freedom to experience, but I am so glad that I'm now on the Choose Life path. And so I'll kind of end our session there. I don't want to take a lot of your time. I did want to give you a few nuggets of gold of what Choose Life Eating can do for you. It is a complete paradigm shift. It is a new perspective. It's a new mindset. of life and freedom. And all of those diets and those schemes, if you're ready to say no to those and these crash courses of losing weight, but then in order to do life or vacation with your family, you gain it back and then you lose it. If you're ready to get off that roller coaster, just personally message me, DM me, and say, Kristen, how can I get started? I want to live as an overcomer in this space. I want the weight to fall off. I want to do it in a healthy way. I don't want to food lists and food charts telling me what I can do and what I can't do. I don't want to be led externally like a toddler. I want to connect to God's voice and presence inside me in the space of food and eating, because if I master it and live as an overcomer there, then 100% in all of these other rings of my life, in your family, in your marriage, in your parenting, you don't need the external to change. You can change and absolutely bring much beauty and abundance to your world. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get to hear Rachel's testimony, and I look forward to that when it is. But I'll highlight that. But thank you again.